If a picture paints 1,000 words, what does this photograph released by the U.S. Air Force today of American military jets pointing in the direction of North Korea say? With tensions spreading abroad and threats of military conflict between the U.S. and other major nations, who's the worst of the worst threat to America? Fox News strategic analyst, retired Army Lieutenant Colonel Ralph Peters is joining us now. Colonel Peters, just
briefly explain what that really does. Yes, it went after tunnel systems. It's meant to go after tunnel systems, but it doesn't have to burrow very far into the ground. The explosion's so massive that it creates overpressure. It collapses tunnels on top of tunnels. And, you know, coming from a coal mining family, I can tell you that being buried alive is not the preferred way to go.
No.
So we were sending a signal to North Korea. Our military was. Why? Because North Korea's nuclear program is largely buried underground. And we're sending the message that even being underground is not going to save you. This bomb will get you. The ceiling's going to collapse.
That is the first I have heard of that the Moab, that mother of all bombs, and that's not even the technical name for for that. But I remember this from the beginning of the Iraq War, the Moab. So you're saying that, you know, President Trump says, I don't really know if it sends a message. You believe it absolutely does send a message, and maybe to Iran as well, who supposedly has all kinds of nuclear operations underground.
Yeah, well, I think we'll just call this the Moab. We'll call it the Lizzie. Is that all right?
I'll take it.
And, you know, a real powerhouse.
Thank you.
But certainly, the primary purpose, of course, was to collapse that tunnel system and face the immediate enemy. But sometimes when you're smart, and God knows General Mattis is smart, you get a twofer. And I have no doubt that this was a message from our military, sort of a calling card to the North Koreans. Now, the other issue that came up in that soundbite worries me, and that's President Trump saying what a great guy President Xi is. It reminded me uncannily of George W. Bush and Barack Obama praising Vladimir Putin, but also Chinese presidents. Chinese leaders, one after the other, have promised us they were going to get serious about dealing with North Korea. And President Xi is very skillful. I think he's going to make some token gestures. He's not going to take on the North Korean regime because it's an ally of Beijing's, a critical wartime ally. And instead, what he's doing is artfully postponing any economic strictures we'd impose.
Or it's the start of the art of the deal where he says, help us here and we will not have a trade war.
Well, I hope it is. I hope President Trump turns out to be a ruthless and brilliant and successful negotiator. But we've just been down this path so many times with American presidents from both parties trusting the most disreputable foreign leaders because the foreign leaders look them in the eyes and say, oh, yeah, boss, sure, you bet. We want to do it. We want to be your friend. We're going to do exactly what you want. And then they don't. I mean, go back to the 1990s and the Chinese were making us promises, and it never came true. Now, I'm not for attacking the Chinese. What I'm saying, Liz, is President Trump needs to bring all his bargaining skills to the table and a lot of skepticism.
Back to Putin, because I agree. He, of course, is helping many of these hotspot regions. You know, just yesterday, President Trump said it's pretty clear that the Russians probably knew about the chemical weapon being dropped in Syria in advance of that. And then today he's putting out a tweet that says that he believes, you know, it's very actually conciliatory toward Russia. And so, you know, things are going to work out fine between the USA, he tweeted, and Russia. At the right time, everyone will come to their senses and there will be lasting peace. Which is it?
Well, the White House does have a problem with consistency in messaging. And hopefully, one hopes that President Trump was just trying to reassure the American people and global markets that things will be okay. It's tense now, but it'll be okay. But we have to see where he goes in the coming weeks, because yesterday Rex Tillerson gave a strong performance in Moscow. He wasn't as nearly as articulate as Sergei Lavrov, the Russian foreign minister. Didn't matter. He stuck to his talking points. He stuck to America's cause and case. And that's what really matters, because Rex Tillerson yesterday ended 16 years of American capitulation to Russia and Vladimir Putin. So I was encouraged yesterday, but God knows with this administration, Liz, we have to see where it goes.
Ralph, great to see you. Lieutenant Colonel Ralph Peters.